Welcome aspirants to the new lecture of geography which is happening all around us. Today we are going to discuss one of the hot topic which is exactly in the news from the perspective of hotness. That topic is heat wave in Europe 2026. Majority of newspapers and majority of personals are saying Europe is melting. But I must rephrase it. Europe is not just melting, Europe is on the way of boiling in year 2026. Why Europe is boiling? The answer to that question lies in the pot of geography. There are multiple reasons. Anyone can say climate change is one of the reasons, global warming is the reason. But aptly speaking, from the perspective of competitive examinations such as UPSC and MPSC and any other state examination, the aspirant must understand what are the pinpoint causes of boiling of Europe in 2026. With me, I have those pinpoint causes which are exactly the reason behind that boiling of the Europe. The first and foremost important cause behind that heat wave is the presence of strong anticyclonic conditions which are present all over the western, or you can say the central part of America. Anticyclonic conditions are referred to the high pressure zones, and that high pressure zones pushes air downwards. That downward moving air heats up through the process of adiabatic heating, and that makes the downward moving air more warm and more hot. That is one of the reasons. Strong anticyclonic conditions. Second important reason is the flow of continental air mass from the desert which is present to the south of the Europe. World's largest warm desert is present to the south of the Europe, and that is Sahara desert. The warm air which is gushing from the Sahara desert towards Europe is the second cause behind this heat wave in Europe. So this is the second cause I have mentioned, African warm air mass from Sahara desert. And the third most important cause behind this heat wave in Europe is most important. Third cause is weakening of jet streams. It is mentioned the Europe's climate or British type of climate is more influenced by jet streams than any other climate in the world. The jet stream and weakening of jet stream has prolonged this heat wave which is present in Europe. It is not so that heat wave is first time being experienced in Europe. It is not so. In the last 5 years, you can see the increasing time duration of this heat wave, and in this year that time period has widened in very large time period. Reason being the weakening of jet stream. The jet stream, if it is very strong, the time period shrinks. The heat wave disaster, I will not call it as a disaster, the heat wave conditions quickly passes through the Europe. But when that jet stream becomes weak, the time period becomes very broader, and the heat or warm conditions over the Europe persist for a longer period of time. These are the three important causes behind Europe being a boiling state of matter or boiling state of nature. For furthermore reasons, you can say climate change is there to amplify the impact of all these three factors. Sea surface temperature which is present beside Europe is also going to add one of the impact, and it is also going to multiply the heat temperature or heat wave in Europe. I must say these 3 points are very important from the perspective of competitive examination. These 3 points makes your answer writing in mains more authentic and more technical when the question comes to heat wave in Europe. You can use it as a case study when it comes to the climate change based activities, when it comes to the man-made disaster linked activities. The impact of this heat wave is so huge that Italy, one of the you can say one of the epicenter of healthcare infrastructure in Europe, is experiencing more than 500 deaths related to the heat waves. You can see multiple videos going around the social media that the tar which is present on the road is melting. The tire which is made up of rubber, they are melting. And in fact, what is the average temperature which have been recorded in Europe in 28th of June 2026? The average temperature all around Europe, specifically from the Western and Central Europe, is more than 40 degrees Celsius. The infrastructure of Europe is not planned as per to tackle the 40 degrees Celsius which is present in the Europe. It is to tackle the cold weather which is present in the Europe. So the change in temperature, in fact, the increase in temperature has biggest impact on the logistic sectors of the Europe. The communication and the transportation is being disturbed, which has multiplied or domino effect on multiple sectors which are present all around that logistic sector. More than that, there is one river known as River Po. The water level of River Po, Po, has declined in such an extent that the ocean water intruded inside that river, and the drinking water based river has now become saline in nature, which has impacted the agricultural and industrial activities. In fact, this heat waves, which earlier used to be very strong in the western part of the Europe, is now slightly shifting towards the central and eastern part of the Europe, specifically the Balkan nations of Europe. That's why understanding of geography is very much important when we are tackling the problems of 21st century. Follow for more such kind of videos and geographical explanation of activities which are happening around the world. Thank you.